Hello.
Hello, test, test. One, two,
We're
three.
back.
Aaron Rodgers is not top 10 quarterback.
Ooh, the Vikings are the worst franchise of all time.
What's up? Test, test, test. One, two, three.
Hello, hello.
And Rodgers not top 10. Yeah, let's talk about the Vikings, bro.
Bro, that
Man.
year when we had Brett Favre in 2009.
And then he threw a pick to Tracy
And then he
Porter.
ran
I was never. I mean,
bro,
I don't remember it,
that
but
was
my
so
dad was
bad.
telling me he's like, I've never been as happy as
That might
was.
be the stupidest decision making ever.
That was horrible, dude. He
Yeah.
could have ran.
they
he
were-
had 10 yards of green grass
But
right
then,
in front
bro,
of him.
they were in field goal range already.
Like
Yeah.
it would have been, I think, like a
Like a
55-yarder.
yeah,
They
like,
said, like, you run 10 yards. That's under 50. I don't know what.
and then
he
he
was
did the
thinking.
one thing they tell all quarterbacks not to do: throw it across your body.
Crossbody,
Across
middle of the
field,
field.
middle of the field.
Exactly, dude.
With
That's-
like a minute left in the game, too. And yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
And then you have what's his name, Paul
Paul
Paul-
Allen.
Yeah,
right,
it was
with
like,
the- yeah.
this
This
is not
is a-
Detroit, man. This
yeah.
is the Super
I
Bowl.
love Paul Allen.
That's a great call.
All right. Anyway, yeah, I kind of want to go back to Lamar though, because I'm bringing up the debate, or I'm bringing up the argument that it's like, okay, Rodgers has 4 MVPs, like he should be top 5, but Lamar already has 2, right? And I wouldn't even put Lamar top 10 all time. Like, I know he's young, but like,
No, because I think playoff success he has none.
no,
I feel like
yeah.
every year the Ravens, they're like favorites. Like even this year, they should have beat the Bills. Mark Andrews, he dropped that 2 point.
Mhm.
But even still, and I mean, it's usually a choke job from the Ravens. Even Lamar's first MVP year, they lost to what was it, the 10-6 Tennessee Titans? Like Derrick Henry ran all over them. It's like you just can't do that. And they have the coach. Harbaugh's top 5 coach in the league. They usually have a good defense. Usually it's like the weapons, but I mean, this year the Ravens had the weapons. You know, Zay Flowers, Andrews, Likely, Bateman, Henry. Like, so I don't know. It's weird with Lamar.
Yeah, I feel like Lamar, you can't put him top 10 right now because, yes, he's great in the regular season and, like, he has the MVPs, but that's just the regular season. Like, if you want to be the best, you got to deliver in the big moments in the playoffs.
Yeah. I think like, yeah, that's a big part about MVPs too, right? It's a regular season award. I think, yeah, the Drew Brees Rodgers debate's tight. Just because they're both, they both didn't really have success in the postseason. They got that 1 ring, but like that's basically it. I mean, I always argue that making the NFC Championship's pretty impressive. I mean, for the stretch that the Packers did. I mean, I know losing is not the goal, obviously, and like that is always going to haunt him. But I mean, having that good of a team consistently, even with a defense that's not, top half in the league. That's another thing I think with Brady too. His defense, if you look at the statistics, have always been like top
Always,
10
yeah.
on every single Super Bowl he has. It's like always been top 10. Even the Bucks, like top 10. Not discrediting him. I mean, he's got 7 rings. He obviously plays a huge role in that, but he was put into a great situation when he came into New England early in his, or as a rookie even, took over.
So you're saying he's like a system quarterback with a great defense.
I can't say he's a system quarterback because he won with the Bucks, right? It's like,
Yeah. No, Brady's great. But his life was made a lot easier having Belichick, having that defense, having Gronk.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, same thing with Mahomes too. If Mahomes went to like the Bears, he would be horrible. I'm convinced of that.
Horrible?
Mediocre. I think they would have destroyed him. I think that's the biggest mistake that NFL teams.
If he got drafted there.
Yeah, if he got drafted.
Okay.
Right now, if he went there, yeah, he'd be fine.
Okay, yeah. I thought
but
you were
like,
saying right now.
yeah, like I think developing quarterbacks is the biggest thing. Like Jordan Love, I don't think is the greatest quarterback ever. I'm not going to say that. I think he's a solid quarterback. I think he's a lot better than he would have been if he got thrown in there, like right away. Like Caleb Williams, I hope he doesn't prove me wrong, but like he could very well. He's super talented, but like Mahomes, same kind of thing. He went into a Chiefs offense with Alex Smith at quarterback, who was not an amazing quarterback, but like he still learned from him. Andy Reid being a coach is huge too. Like you think about like. I always think about like the coaching staff that Favre had in the 90s with the Packers because it was Andy Reid, John Gruden, Mike Holmgren. Like, yeah, like those guys all were like quarterback oriented because they had Favre. Like that's why Gruden's such a great quarterbacks coach. And I think Andy Reid as well, like he really like Mahomes went to the place he really needed to go to.
That's why, like, I'm a Giants fan. I want Cam Ward, or I'll take Shador too, but whatever. But I really want Rodgers also to come in and mentor one of these young guys. I feel like if any of them sit behind Rodgers, even if it's half a year for the whole year, just having Rodgers in, those meeting rooms, one of those rookies watching Rodgers, I think it'd be beneficial because, like you said, now in the NFL, I think these rookies need to sit for if it's half a season, a full year. Even you look at Bryce Young, he was awful to start the year. Then they benched him for what was it, 5 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. Let him relax a little bit, and he came back second half of the year. He was a top 10 quarterback second half of the year, Bryce Young. He was very good second half of the year. So I just think with these young guys, you can't rush them. Even if they are ready, you just got to sit them, let them learn their system, let them learn what it's like to be in the NFL. And I just think Rodgers would be great too. But I think it'd be fun. I don't know how good the Giants would be, but if you're giving me Aaron Rodgers, Malik Neighbors, because Devontae is going to come with him too. I mean, come on. Devontae Adams, Wan'Dale Robinson, Tyrone Tracy. Listen, I'm not going to say we're going to be good.
That's a loaded offense.
Yeah, but we're going to be putting up points. I'm not going to have to watch, a Giants team putting up only field goals anymore. It's going to be at least fun. So I hope the Giants get it done. But yeah, it's like the point you brought with, I think rookies need to, just sit.
Yeah.
Wait a little bit.
I feel like the NFL is so different compared to like college football. Like Johnny Manziel, for example. He was awesome in college, gets to the NFL, doesn't really pan out. That's why I have high hopes on Caleb Williams. Because what you mentioned about the Bears system, it's like he doesn't really have anybody around him. And he's still playing pretty good for where he's at right now for a rookie. So I have high hopes for Caleb Williams, and Bryce Young is also like really good. So yeah, I like seeing, because we mentioned all the old quarterbacks. It's like it's going to be like a whole different like set of quarterbacks coming up that are like mobile, like Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, like they can all like run the ball. Josh Allen, it's a fun time if you're a quarterback fan.
Yeah, and I think the biggest flaw for the Bears, like they gave him weapons, like they gave Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, they gave him Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, like he has the weapons. He just needed an offensive line, and earlier this week they picked up Joe Thuney.
And Jonah Jackson. Don't sleep on Jonah Jackson.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah.
I just know Joe, because he was like all pro for the Chiefs. Like I hate to say it. I think the Bears are gonna be fine though. I hate to say it.
Especially for like Vikings and Packers fans, it's like the Bears are gonna be good too, and like the Lions are already really good. So I think we have the best division in football.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully for your sake, I hope the Vikings aren't the weak link.
I mean, Sam Darnold run was crazy, but JJ McCarthy, I don't know. He's a good quarterback to hand the ball off to.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he can deliver for us, of course, but I don't know how it's gonna pan out.
Do you want them to bring back Darnold on like a short deal, or are you like all in on McCarthy? Like, let's go, McCarthy time.
I do want them to bring back Darnold. Only because he found success with the Vikings, and I feel like Kevin O'Connell really did well with that quarterback. So I think we should just run it back one more year.
He was like a borderline MVP candidate, but those last 2 games were awful.
Yeah.
That last game in the regular season against the Lions, and then
the playoffs,
that playoff game, it looked like he was like the old Sam Darnold. It was like, oh, this guy has no clue what he's doing. But apparently they want to bring him back on like a 1-year, maybe 2-year deal.
Yeah.
Because JJ, he's only 22 still, so he could sit another few years. He's coming off of, I think he tore his ACL, something with his knee.
Yeah,
so he's coming off an injury, so he could use another like rehab year and get to learn. But
also, just learning behind Sam Darnold, who's been in the NFL for a long time, like how you mentioned with, like Shador standing behind Aaron Rodgers. I feel like the Vikings need a veteran like Sam Darnold on the team.
Yeah, didn't Kevin O'Connell win Coach of the Year?
Yes.
Yeah. See,
he's such a good coach.
He's such a great coach. Yeah. Like I definitely agree with that. Like both of you guys said. I know we're trying to play like devil's advocate here, but I think for the Vikings, like you want to make sure like Sam Darnold, like you have a little bit of like if Sam Darnold, okay, let's say he, kind of continues how he did the last couple of games of the year and like, starts off horribly. Like you can always have that option to throw in JJ McCarthy, but like he proved that like it worked. He can look like a great quarterback, like he did for basically the entire season. And I wouldn't see why, like, especially after those last couple of games, his free agency value just completely tanked. I mean, I feel bad for the guy, but like that's more reason I think for the Vikings to just bring him back.
Now with your Packers, you want DK?
I
They're heavy in the
here's a
DK
hot
rumors.
take, and I hate to say it because I love Devontae
Ooh.
Adams, but I'd rather have DK. I'd
Really?
rather have DK. I just think Devontae's cap hit is going to be too big. He's a 32-year-old receiver. Like, he's already past his prime. Like, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough transition. I just think DK Metcalf is kind of the spark the team needs. My only thing is leadership. Like, who's going to be like, he will be the leader in the wide receiver room, but I don't know how good he is as a leader.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's big with like Seattle because they had Lockett. Lockett was, the leader in that room.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
Like, you have like, that's the reason I think like, if we brought back Devontae, I wouldn't be like super mad. Listen, he's probably my favorite football player of all time. Like,
Yeah.
favorite wide receiver, of course. Like, and that'll bring the leadership. I just think he's lost his step. And that's the biggest thing. It's like, but he will be that leader in the locker room for the guys more than I think DK Metcalf would. But DK Metcalf brings the talent, and what the Packers need is, a big time wide receiver. But, they signed Brandon McManus to a 3-year deal, which is like, everyone's like, oh, it's a kicker. But if you've been following the Packers, the kick ever since Crosby left, kicking has just destroyed them.
Kicking
So-
is what always ruins like the Vikings seasons. So
Oh,
it's like Blair Walsh against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
It was
What
like
was
a
that,
26
26-yard?
yard,
Yeah.
and he just kicks it wide left. It's like
That ruined the Giants season last year before it even started when the field goal was blocked against Dallas Sunday night, and then we lost 40-0. So yeah,
Oh.
kicking.
Yikes, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. But
people overlook the kicking a lot.
you would
And
think
it's
there'd be
like, you
so
need a
like
solid kick.
yeah, you'd think there'd be more because there's a lot of teams who don't have good kickers. Like
Yeah.
these guys, we need them to start pumping out kickers like they do like wide receivers. You know what I mean?
You guys remember Steven Gostkowski
Yeah.
on the Patriots? He was a big part of them winning all those rings too that people just overlook. He was goated.
It's like Bucker and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Bucker's so clutch. Like
Jake Elliott too. This year he had a monster year.
Yeah.
Like, he's just consistently reliable. Like,
you need a guy who can just ice in his veins, can nail those 50, 60 yarders if you need them to. And like Aubrey in Dallas.
yeah,
Oh, dude, he could hit like 70 yards if he wanted to. And that is such a huge advantage when like you're the Cowboys because you realistically you need 3 first downs and you're in field goal range.
yeah.
It's like it changes it completely. Bro, he's hit so many 65 yarders this year. He's ridiculous. So annoying. I went up against him in fantasy. He had like 30 points on me one week. It was like, bro, absolutely terrible. But going back to DK, hot take. I don't think he's top 20.
You don't think he's top 20?
I don't think he's top 20.
I don't think
receiver.
he's top 20 either.
Yeah,
He's just like that spark that you need for a big play,
yeah.
but he's not a top 20.
But I'm not.
I think his name value is greater than what he's producing on the field. I feel like, especially for the Packers, I feel like they need a true alpha number 1 elite wide receiver. And to me, if you want to be an elite wide receiver, you got to run a full route tree. DK, we know he could go deep. He's good on the slants, but he's not a guy who could go into the slot, win one-on-one. He's not really that guy. Like those guys are Jefferson, Chase, maybe a little bit of bias, but I think Malik Neighbors, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, like those are the alphas to me.
You're saying Malik Neighbors is a little bit better than DK Metcalf.
Oh, I think he's easily better. I'm
Listen, it's not a bad take.
No,
I'm
but-
just like,
but
he might need a little more time.
Neighbor-
but I
Neighbors-
get what you're saying. Who
Neighbors
do
in
you
his
have throwing to him?
Yeah,
Like,
but not even that. Neighbors in his rookie year, I think the only season that DK had better was DK's second year. DK's second year was the best year of his career. I think it was like 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns. Neighbors as a rookie had 100 catches, 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns with Tommy Cutlets and Drew Lock throwing him the ball. And you know what I mean?
He's also a rookie, so he's still got a lot of
Yeah,
time.
Yeah.
he's going to be a beast.
People are iffy with the rookies. You
Yeah.
bring up a rookie, some people are like, let's wait a little bit. Like, I think Brian Thomas Jr. too is
a
top 10.
beast.
I love BTJ. I think he's like with these rookies. I don't, if they're good year 1, I don't gotta wait to see them.
Yeah,
like-
I think
like OBJ though had a great start to his career, and then he just kind of faltered.
But OBJ was top. He was still top 3, like for the first 3 years of his career. And then injuries happened.
I think
other
it was
outside
injuries, yeah.
things. Yeah. But even OBJ on the Rams, he was good for that second half of the year. He was a huge part in them winning that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So the talent's still there, but I can understand why people might be like, all right, let's hold off a little bit on the rookies, but not me.
Yeah, I think more than anything, like the Packers just need that kind of distraction guy.
Mm.
Like, I think Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs. It's going to be interesting though, because one thing I don't like about the prospect of getting DK is they want one of those guys. Like the Packers aren't going to give up Jaden Reed.
Yeah.
But they might give up Dobbs. They might give up Wicks. Like there's so many young receivers the Packers have that are already doing so well. And I think like giving that offense DK, even if he doesn't have the route tree, Jaden Reed has the route tree.
Yeah.
Like I think all those other guys, Romeo Dobbs has the route tree. That man runs routes like I've never seen anyone
Romeo
before.
Dobbs. He's so
insane.
underrated.
He's insane. And I think DK, like, listen, if he can just run go routes, like it's nothing super effective all the time. Like you'll hit him on the deep ball sometimes, but you have that threat, and it like opens up the field for all these other guys to do their thing.
Apparently, he wants like $30 million a year though on a new contract.
Yeah, the Packers would never give that to him.
That's what I'm saying.
See,
that's like he's not that good where you're giving him $30 million a year.
Yeah, and I think wide receiver isn't really the biggest priority for them. Like
pass rush.
Yeah, pass rush. I think the Packers overall, though, are in a solid spot. I think the Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs were like the two biggest free agency pickups I think I've ever seen as a Packer fan in my life.
McKinney still breaks my heart.
I know.
That hurts me more than Saquon.
Seriously?
Bro, because I understand not paying Saquon. Injury history.
Yeah.
He was 28 years old. Bro, McKinney, 24 years old, captain on our defense, one of the best safeties in the league. Like, I'll just that hurts me.
And he was so great last year.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people give hate to the Giants for not re-signing Saquon, but it's like if they did re-sign Saquon, I don't think Saquon would have had the year that he had with the Eagles.
Not even close.
Stayed with the Giants.
Not even close. And bro, he just got $20 million a year, Saquon.
Yeah.
He's gonna be getting $20 million at age 31, 32.
Yeah.
I don't know how that
running back too is crazy.
I don't know how that's gonna end. For right now, it looks fine. Like the Eagles will be fine, but
they got a Super Bowl ring out of it.
Yeah, but during those last 2 years of that contract, it might get ugly.
Yeah, it's like I really have a feeling that injuries are going to come back to Saquon. I think maybe next year. Like I'm not going to take him in fantasy next year.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to because I feel like it can come back to bite him. And like, yeah, let's say he gets injured this year. Everyone's like, oh, the Giants are genius. Like, of course, everyone's going to say after the fact, after he has a great year, that like that was a dumb move. But like running backs are the most dispensable position in all of football. Like how many running backs really make it past what, like 30, even like 28 years old? Like exactly. It's like because they get injured all the time, they get hit all the time.
I feel like once they hit 30, it's like, all right, like you're good.
Yeah.
Like have fun.
Like I mean, Frank Gore is an anomaly. Adrian Peterson
was he was different.
Adrian Peterson
was
like
Jordan
the Vikings have like so many good players and they just don't do anything. Like with them to give them a shot to win this. Justin Jefferson, Adrian Peterson, Brett Favre,
Percy Harvin's one of my
Percy
favorites.
Harvin, Sidney Rice.
Oh,
then you go back to like the Purple People Eaters, I think, when they had that great defense, and it's like Chris Carter, I think they had.
Yeah.
They had
Randy
so
Moss.
many opportunities to do it, and they just don't.
Yeah, the Moss, dude.
It's like the saddest thing being a Vikings fan.
Adrian Peterson's my GOAT running back, though. I love AP.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Adrian Peterson.
That's another thing. Yeah, it's like, okay, who's the like he might be the most talented. It's like, okay,
bro.
We'll talk about wasting a career. I think Barry Sanders got done so dirty compared to like him and Adrian Peterson. I mean, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like you ever like watch their highlights, bro? They would literally take on the whole defense by themselves. They're just running past guys.
Adrian Peterson was like Marshawn Lynch, but on steroids.
Yeah, bro, he was like, if you took like Saquon and Derrick Henry now, combine the two, you got Adrian Peterson basically.
Yeah,
he was nuts.
Walter Payton too. Like I've seen old highlights of him like just shrugging off tackles, and it's like it's even more impressive when you're a top tier running back and everyone's guessing around. Like I think Derrick Henry too is. I don't think he's going to go down as one of the greatest because he doesn't have the resume. But I think in terms of just a pure running back, like look at that man run. Like
I feel like he has the resume though.
Does it?
He's hit 2K.
He's hit 2K. Yeah,
he's won Offensive Player of the Year.
Oh yeah.
And I think he has like 5 straight, however many years straight, like 1,500 yards, like 1,300 yard minimum.
Has he ever really been injured too? I feel like he has. Maybe he had 1 year.
Yes, what was the year when the Titans were the 1 seed? They got the 1 seed without Derrick Henry, and he came back in the playoffs, and they lost
the Ravens,
2021.
right?
Yeah, no, they lost to the Bengals. That's when the Bengals made the Super Bowl that year. I think that was really the only year though that he was hurt.
Yeah, I feel like, every time I see him, he's like, doing some crazy workout routine. I feel like he takes really good care of his body. And like, so I guess going back to your point, yeah, he could really end up in that. It's all about longevity though. Like that's the biggest thing for all these guys.
Like LeBron.
Like,
Going back to LeBron.
Like LeBron.
Whatever like workout program, like healthcare he's on, like him and Brady, they gotta drop like their secrets to the rest of these athletes, because we could see athletes playing like until deep into their 40s, all of them. Because the amount of longevity both of those guys have is absurd. Especially Brady. Like, bro, you're in the NFL taking those hits as a quarterback. I mean, that to me will always be, and like still having the arm strength. You would think your arm strength would give out eventually. Nah, Brady was always on point.
And that's, I mean, one thing going back to like our first debate topic about, will LeBron's scoring record ever get broken? I think eventually it will, just because of like the way modern medicine is working. Like you're gonna have guys like, I mean, this long time. It's gonna take a long time, but like even 50 years from now, you could have guys playing in their 50s. Like, and you think about, LeBron got a head start at 18 rather than like 21. But if he retires at, what is he now? Is he 40?
I think he just turned 40.
Yeah. Like if you even have guys like, I think he's got another few years in him, but he'll probably throw in the towel after a couple.
Yeah.
Like he's already played with Brownie. Like even if you have guys like going until 50, like if you played that, so you could play 30 years. Like that is crazy.
That would be
and
nuts.
eventually I think someone's going to come along where they don't have to be as dominant as LeBron was for that kind of stretch. They just have to be consistent enough. They don't have to drop like 30 a game. They can drop 20 a game and just over the years get that.
Yeah.
So
especially with like, if you look at how it was in like the 70s or the 80s, and it's like to where we are now with like the medicine and like the training facilities that the players have, I think in the next 30, 40 years, it's only going to go up. So it's going to be crazy to see how, like, even the NBA right now is so different from where it was in like the 90s or like the 80s. It's like they put up so many more points.
Yeah, but even like back then, like in the 80s, 90s, a torn ACL, that's your career. Like you're done. Now, bro, these guys are coming back in 7 months from a torn ACL. So like that just show, and forget it. In 50 years from now, it might be guys are back in 4 months from a torn ACL. Like, you know what I mean? So like you said, I think, 50 years from now with the medicine improving and stuff, I think someone could just play until, they're 50 and just break LeBron's record.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of wraps up our time, guys. Great debating with you guys as always. And thank you for everyone who's tuning in. These are the Sports Bros signing out.
That was good.
That was good besides the